Good day, yogis. My name is Peter, and I'm here at Flow Yoga and Cycle, and I'm going to do a handstand tutorial for you. If you've never tried a handstand before, we're not going to get there all the way today, but if you keep practicing, trying the stuff that I'm sharing with you today, and keep going, I think that you'll be able to get there, and you'll definitely see progress within as little as a week, but definitely in a month. And I think that within just a couple of months, you can be able to do a handstand comfortably against a wall and start to get away from the wall and into the room. So let's start and give it a shot. First thing, we're going to warm up our wrists. You can do this in the cat-cow position, anything that you want to do. So I like to take the fingers out to the sides and then start to rock left and right to warm up the wrists a little bit that way. And then once things start to feel a little bit more open, I will take my wrists and take them back towards the knees and start to rock back here to open up the forearms. And that's a pretty nice way to start things off. I do this in flow classes a lot because we're on our wrists and it's just nice to open things up and helps prevent injury. Then I flip around and then fingers still back towards the knees, just palms up this time. That's just working things out in a different direction there. And again, rocking back in order to feel where you start to feel it. And then just push it a little bit. Dull pain is okay. We don't want any sharp pain. Discomfort is a-okay. But if you get some sort of pinching, that's what we really want to try to avoid. All right. Wrists feel pretty good there. I also like to make fists and then just circle them out here. That's a good thing to do. And we can also take the thumb on the palm side, fingers on the back of the hand, and start to pull the hand in. And then we're pushing with that bottom thumb, and then starting to try to straighten the arm as much as possible, and then take the crease up towards the ceiling. Wiggle that one out, and then other side. So thumb on the inside, fingers on the outside, start to pull that hand down, pushing with the thumb, and then straightening the arm and taking the crease of the elbow up towards the sky as much as possible. And then shaking that side out too. We like, when we're on our hands, when we're upside down, we do a lot with our shoulders. They're doing a lot for us, so we got to warm those up as well. There's lots of ways to do that, but I'm just going to do two here that I think are really nice. And then the first one is you can reach across if that's good for you, or if you want a little bit more, you can do eagle arms. And if you're in eagle arms, be sure to try and get your elbows away from your shoulders as much as possible and reaching the arms up to open up across the back. Or just working the arm to the side, both good options. And then switching it out, of course. Opening up across the back. Maybe eagle arms here. That's pretty good for the shoulders. And now let's do some warm-ups for the core. Cat-cows are a good place to start to remind us to engage everything. When we're upside down, we really need to engage the belly and bring the hips towards the ribs. We don't want to have our tail scooting out like this. We want to bring everything in nice and tight. And so warming with cat-cows helps us feel that sensation and remind us that we want to pull everything in this direction, as opposed to, we call it banana back a lot, where the back is really arched, and that comes from being scared about the placement of the shoulders. So a couple cat-cows are good. And then the next thing is to work on the back here. We want to make sure the back is domed, so the shoulder blades are pulling away from one another as opposed to going towards one another. So working on this, pushing away, really trying to press into the ground, and then maybe your hands even try and pull together a little bit as opposed to going down and then where the hands start to move away from one another. So those are the sort of things with our core and our shoulder girdle that we're thinking about, trying to get the elbows closer together, pressing into the earth, and then bringing the ribs and the hips together like this. So now we're ready to start practicing going upside down. We've got a wall here, and there's a couple ways we can use it. The standard one is to face the wall, hands down, and go up. But we're going to go the other direction first for a couple of reasons. And I'll show you what that looks like. We want to go about arm's width, maybe a little bit more distance away from the wall. And then we're going to turn around, hands are going to go down, and then we're going to put the feet up against the wall. A little bit more here. This is right about where we want to be. And then maybe we can walk the hands back. And the goal here is to get the hips up over the shoulders. And then we're going to lift one leg. What happens here a lot is this leg starts to open, the hip opens, and then people fall out of their handstand. So we're going to try and keep the hips square to the wall so that our hips are over our shoulders and we can really press into the earth. So foot up the wall, other foot up the wall, and then hips over the hands, and then starting to lift one leg. Pressing into the hands. This strengthens the shoulders, strengthens the arms, gets you ready for the handstands in the future, and then we switch out the legs. And then some people like to flex their ankles. Some people point. It doesn't matter, but the big thing is that the leg is engaged. Energy is going up and out. It's not flopping around. You're not doing the banana back here, but trying to get everything nice and in line as much as possible. For 2, for 1, and then come out of it. If that's how far you get today, that's great. If you can do that maybe 3 to 5 times with each leg, holding it for 5, 10 strong breaths, that's going to be a great place to start. You're going to build that strength in the arms, build the belly and then the core strength, and you're just going to start to get comfortable with the upside down feeling. So just coming back to that every day, every other day, you're going to definitely start to see some progress. From there, we got some other options. I'm still going to go where I'm away from the wall at first and then facing the wall next, and then lifting up, and this leg comes straight, and then I'm going to go on my toes, and I'm just going to start to find the spot where I'm starting to float. And then I'm going to come down, and my shoulders away from one another, hips and ribs towards one another, and then I'm just trying to find where I'm floating here. And I'm pressing into my fingers. Hips are still square. And then when I start to get comfortable, I'm going to lift that leg up. And then eventually come back down. That's going to take a while. It's going to take a long time to get comfortable with that. So there's some things you can do in the meantime. We can work towards the wall. When I was learning to do handstands, I did this so many times in the same spot that I got heel marks on the wall. My wife was very upset, but luckily Magic Eraser was very good about getting those heel marks out. So it took a long time, but eventually you start to get comfortable with it. What does that look like? Hands are going to be pretty close to the wall. Some people, they start to think, oh, I'm comfortable with the wall. I'm going to move away. I don't recommend that. I recommend what we did first. But you can start close to the wall here and start. Some people like the foot closer. Some people like it farther away. Some people, it's a matter of their flexibility. I prefer a little bit farther away because I feel like I've got not as far to go when I kick up. But I kick up, and I can just do this. If I do 3 to 5 on each side, and just start to get comfortable with it, this is another good drill. Eventually, I'm gonna kick all the way up. But see how I start to either get my banana back here, or my feet, my hips go too far this direction? That's why it's better to have the hands a little bit closer so we can stack everything a little bit more in line. So lift it up. And now we've got a much straighter line, and we can just take one leg off, take the other leg off, really press into the hands. Again, shoulders wide, and starting to feel the sensation of what a handstand feels like. And eventually come back down. So again, you got the pressing with the foot against the wall where you're facing away. That's one drill. Or kicking one leg at a time towards the wall. Those are both really good drills to get you practicing. But another good thing that I really recommend is trying to film yourself. Just take your phone out, make a video of what you look like in going into handstand. You don't have to share it with anybody. You can if you want, of course. Progress is always good to see because then you can come back later and so you can see the difference. But what it's really for is so that you can, it's hard to know what your body looks like upside down. But if you take a video of it, you can say, oh, like my shoulders need to go farther forward, or my hips need to stay in a certain situation, or my gaze needs to be different. So let's talk about those things, starting with the gaze. When I'm in a handstand, I'm looking in this direction, down towards the floor. If I look too far forward, I'm cranking my neck. I'm getting that banana back that I was talking about that we're going to try to avoid. And if I look underneath, your body's going to start to tumble forward. So pressing down into the ground with your eyes, the same way that you're pressing down with your hands. Next, our shoulders, when we're in the handstand, are probably going to be stacked on top of the hands, maybe slightly forward. Going up into the handstand, we warmed up those wrists. Shoulders need to be towards the finger side, not towards the palm side. That allows us to keep our center of balance as we kick our feet up. If our shoulders are way back here and we try to kick our feet up, we're never going to get there. Once we start to bring our shoulders over our wrists, and then our hips can get higher, and then we press up to the handstand, or give it a nice little kick. Gaze is going down. Ribs are going towards the hips. Legs are energized. Soles of the feet pressing towards the sky, or balls of the feet. And then eventually coming out of it. That's what we're going for in our handstand. It's going to take a while to get there. Doing the drills, seeing a little bit of improvement every day, sometimes not seeing that improvement, getting frustrated, but taking some breaths and coming back to it is what's going to get you there in the end. So before we finish, before we do some cool down stuff, let's see what this looks like in a class. So, we're in a warrior 2, say, and then we got a reverse warrior. And then the teacher says, you vinyasa, so you come down and you can go straight into your bottom, your down dog, your chaturanga push-up, or you can cartwheel the hands down and then go up to the push-up and then down. Inhale up, exhale down. That would be the most common place at the beginning or the end of a flow, right before you do your vinyasa. But you could put it in other places as well. That's more advanced. Maybe we'll do another video where we can show those. So let's talk about how to keep things nice and healthy at the end. We just worked out our forearms quite a bit. We're pressing into the ground a lot. Same way we work out our calves when we're doing running or walking around. So let's massage those. Forearm to the ground, and then opposite knee is going to work into that forearm. It's just
sort of below the knee a tiny bit, the top of the shin bone there. And then working out. Be careful around the wrist, but up closer to the elbow where it's a little more fleshy, more muscle, you can be a little bit firmer in your pressing. And then switch it out, of course. So opposite knee into opposite forearm, working it out. And be careful around the wrist. Some of those same stretches that we did at the beginning are also pretty good. So working on pulling the hand down, and also maybe working something like this to just get that acid and that the workout that we just put into the wrists. And we want to heal them, we want to massage them. We don't want them to build into something that's tight, something that is uncomfortable in our daily life. So that's it for today for this tutorial. If you want to do some other tutorials, we've got a really good headstand and bakasana. Those are something that a lot of people like to work on. And then there's other great stuff on the Flow Yoga and Cycle website. So please check those out and come back soon. Thank you very much.